I am your host, Jonathan Yamasaki, for Go Entrepreneur Yourself. We are a podcast that brings you local and national entrepreneurs and leaders to share their story. Today, we bring you a local entrepreneur, friend, and branding expert, Brenda Ruby. Brenda was the first employee of Snow Teeth Whitening, where she began the development and branding of their premium line of oral care products. She helped to grow the company from 0 to 9-figure multimillion-dollar e-commerce brand in just 4 years as the chief operating officer. In those years, she helped to develop award-winning products that were featured on GQ Magazine, Oprah Magazine, Vogue, and even led partnerships with celebrities such as the recent Super Bowl champions, Gronkowski, the Kardashians, Floyd Mayweather, and now she has stepped down in her role as COO and serves as an advisor and partner for Snow. And Brenda has since transitioned as a consultant to focus on helping entrepreneurs and businesses grow their brand. Today, we are going to talk about branding. Thank you, Brenda, for coming on to our show.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for having this platform for us to come and share and all the listeners and making sure that we're continuing to share through our experiences, what we know, and I hope it helps somebody out there.
Yes. Well, we're going to get started, but before we get to the serious questions, we're going to have some fun. So I'm going to introduce you to the Fast Five. The Fast Five is just 5 quick questions. And let's get started. So what song or podcast were you listening to before this call today?
Clubhouse has taken on my audio listening. But the podcast, I did listen to this before. It was How I Built This. That's one of my favorite podcasts because it drags me back into the startup phase of building a company. So that's my favorite.
Next question. What is one thing you missed most since the pandemic started?
One thing I miss most since the pandemic started is traveling conveniently and freely. So I actually booked a 3-month trip before the pandemic in March. And it got canceled. So I was really looking forward to traveling South America.
Oh, that would have been a blast. What is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word? Mm-hmm. Can I say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
No, you know what? My awareness came today when I was helping my 5-year-old with homework. And then I said, shit. So it's just a normal one. But then she caught me and she was like, my mom doesn't let me say that. I was like, oh, I have not been around a kid forever.
That's hilarious. And then what is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is, other than hot Cheetos, I grew up with hot Cheetos. I love it. And that's my guilty snack. But my guilty pleasure other than that is just binge watching a good Netflix show on the weekend.
And favorite food? Hot Cheetos?
No, favorite food is sushi. So I love sushi, seafood, oysters, camarones, aguachiles, anything seafood.
Thank you for sharing that. That was the Fast Five, everybody. Now let's get into the interview. Brenda, what is branding and why is it important?
What a loaded question. And it gets overlooked. Branding gets overlooked as not being as important, but I would say it's one of the most important traits of your personal brand or business. So branding is important because it's how you do everything, how you approach every single scenario. And how I see branding in the simplest term is what you stand for and what you want to be known for.
What you stand for and what you want to be known for. That definitely rings bells there. And tell our listeners your story from post-college to what you're doing now.
Yeah, so to keep it short, post-college, I went to Arizona State University. graduated from the business school in accounting, and I got in and out because I wanted to make money. I wanted to start helping my family out and being out in the quote unquote real world. And so, what did that mean? For me, it was going out to corporate. And so I landed what I thought was the best job, and it was. Coming from being born in Mexico, coming here and growing up in the hood, and thinking I would have never achieved what I achieved, even post college, was a dream for me. And so I went to an accounting firm, Deloitte, here locally. And that was very short lived because I saw the ceiling. I got the best experience, amazing people. I love numbers, spreadsheet, but I said, I want more. And then I felt kind of guilty for wanting more. And I felt kind of guilty for wanting to go after a dream that I didn't even know was there. But I knew what I didn't want to. And so this is another thing that I can tie with branding, is knowing what not to do and saying no to the things that don't align with you. So I didn't know what I wanted to go after, but I knew that this, where I wasn't it for me. And so I took the risk in leaving corporate America. The most money I've ever thought I would have made, because I just grew up making minimum hourly jobs since high school. And so I left that and I ended up going to a marketing agency here locally. And that's where my creativity just sparked. And learning how to help other entrepreneurs, that's where the passion grew. The fire in the belly was, how can I use my creativity, my analytical brain, because I love numbers, and deliver an outcome where I help other entrepreneurs get sales. So it's all about marketing, and marketing is this huge, just what would you say, just like black hole, where it's like creative and then analytics and then all these stuff. So I definitely was very, very busy with that. And that is exactly where my entrepreneur journey started internally, creating e-commerce brands. So me and my partner that created Snow Teeth Whitening, which is an e-commerce company that I started 5 years ago, that's how we started playing with e-commerce. And so it was soon enough where the validation came from customers saying, we want it. We want this product. We want it more and more and more. And that's where timing was of the essence. And we said, let's go all in into growing this e-commerce brand because we're being called to. And my entrepreneur journey started when I helped start that brand from idea, from scratch, all the way to where it is now. And I mean, we can go on talking about how I helped grow the biggest branding in e-commerce through a personal care brand.
What was it like building Snow, especially during a market where there's other, Smile Direct Club, there was other competitors out there, and even Colgate, who already had some sort of like teeth whitening product lines. What was it like competing with the big dogs when you were all just starting out?
Something came up to my mind, and it when you said what was it like, it was almost like the David and Goliath story, where you named it. Colgate was there. They haven't innovated for years and decades, and so for us to take on this industry by storm, no pun intended, it just snowballed. So we said, this is how I tell other entrepreneurs, or when they have no idea what to start. Entrepreneurship is either making something better, improving it, or fixing a problem. And we had both on our side. There's no big at-home teeth whitening system that made it very convenient, that actually worked. So there's a huge gap from Colgate, the strips, which were very painful. And then on the other end of the spectrum was the super expensive $200+ very painful in dentist treatments. And so there was a big space to enter into the market and say, let's do it. Let's do it better. Let's do it more conveniently. And the branding is what actually helped elevate that. And it gave us that perspective of, okay, you're solving a problem. It's better. You have a great product. But the branding, both aesthetically and delivering that message of why it's better and why customers should go with this one or try it out, it's what actually did it. And I will say that social media helped a lot. We got into the influencer marketing right away, and that was also on our side. So there's a lot of things. I mean, it could have been luck. It was right timing, and it was doing everything at once, very, very strategically in the right way.
So then, what biggest struggles did your team have when building the brand? Because you can have a really good product, but if you can't pitch it or get it into the hands of the right people, no one's going to know about your product.
I love that question because it goes right back to branding. And so one of the things in doing branding right, you said it exactly. It's crafting that story and message to the right people. And so going back to how I defined branding at the beginning was understanding who you are as a brand, what you stand for, your core values, the pain points you're fixing, the features you're delivering, the benefits. So understanding how to craft that messaging where it's very clear, concise, and has that call to action to the right people. And so a lot of what goes hand in hand with branding, it's internally understanding, again, your messaging, but then externally understanding your customer. And that's what I love to also specialize in. Understand your customer to the core, so you know how to speak to them.
Right. You gave it a great example to an answer of this question that I wanted to ask you. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're thinking about branding, they kind of look at themselves versus the company. And I want to talk about first, what is the difference, and is there a difference between branding yourself? So an entrepreneur, usually they're the ones branding themselves versus the company that they're creating.
Yes, I'll speak on that and let me know if I'm going on the right track.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big question.
A lot of times, so I do bring this up when I'm talking to the people I'm working with, is you get to choose two things. You get to choose the personality of the brand. If you're not going to be the face of your brand, because that's also very important, and it's a great PR leverage to be the face of your brand, again, very strategically. If you're not going to do that, then you have to personalize your brand. And how do you do that if you're not going to be the face of your company, if you're going to be in the back end? You add that tone of voice, and that's part of a branding guideline. What is the tone of voice you're giving to your brand? How are you speaking to the customers? How are you talking to them from point A, where they barely get to meet your company, to where they actually commit to your company? And I love to use the analogy of a relationship. Instead of going right up to your customer and say, hey, buy this product, you see it this way. When you want to ask the girl out, you don't say, hey, let's get married or let's have sex. You court them, you date them, you get to understand them. So just like they want to understand you and what your brand stands for, you also want to understand your customers. So what are they like? What are their behaviors? What are they doing on a day-to-day basis that I can integrate myself into their already done behavior and habits, where it's very easy for them to say, yes, I want to commit to you. And the way you continue the long-term relationship with that customer, again, is how you're interacting with them from point of sale to 10 years later. I mean, the email sequence, the way you're sending them the birthday card. I mean, there's companies out there that do a great job, like Starbucks, sending you the extra stars for your birthday or all that. Yeah. The loyalty program. So the best analogy is like, how would a great relationship, just like any human to human relationship, is the same as your company should be the same to those customers, developing that very healthy, long-term, loyal, committed relationship.
Right. Flirt with your don't take the word verbatim, but you have to
Yeah,
flirt with your
win them
customers.
over.
You
Win
gotta get
them
to know
over.
them. Yeah, exactly. And what should an entrepreneur consider when they're trying to market out to their target audience?
The biggest one, understand your customer and then understand where they're at. So if we're talking about marketing, is one, after you understand your customer, then understand what channels they're in. So then I always say be an omni-channel presence. Have an omni-channel presence, which means be on Amazon, be on your website, be on Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse, or whatever that is. But focus on that channel that your customer is at. So then you're in their face a lot more, and that mind share subconsciously you're always going to be with them. So I would say after crafting your message, your story, be in tune with what is working right now. So for example, user generated content is super popular right now if we're talking about paid media, specifically Facebook or Instagram ads. It's crafting that message for that customer on the right platform.
What do you mean by user generated content? I don't know if I've heard that word used before.
I love talking about that, and I'm glad. I hope other people jump on that. User generated content is a type of content that you're curating for your customer, whoever's going to view your advertisements. So if you're scrolling down Facebook, think about what ad, and if it's an ad, if it's sponsored, which ad is going to stop you, and those 2 seconds, I mean, it's probably less than 2 seconds where it catches your attention, and that's a video. The biggest ones right now, it's influencers showcasing the product. It's the most organic. So user generated content is organic type of video content that you're using to advertise your product.
Yeah. I think Instagram is the sneakiest, because whenever you're scrolling, you see some videos and you don't know, it's not like, if you're going into, when you're just searching, like scrolling through different videos from friends, you can't tell sometimes it's an advertisement until,
and that's why it works. Into it. That's why it works, because it's organic. It's exactly being like a chameleon type of content on your timeline that gets to be, one, you want to have the user relate to that video and see themselves as part of that. So the high definition videos are being produced right now aren't doing the best as somebody with their iPhone doing a selfie video showcasing, hey, this mouse I just got, super flexible, I use it as Bluetooth. That's me delivering a video for that brand.
Right. Another question that comes up that I realize, I used to work for Yelp, and we used to help with advertisement. What I remember is hearing from a lot of locals, small business owners, is that whenever something pops, like there's TikTok now, they're trying to get onto every social media platform. And there's so much out there that it can be overwhelming. First, what are your recommendations? Like, which social media platforms do you think are best? And which ones, like, where should they focus?
I would say going back to having an omni-channel presence. So being definitely everywhere for that brand awareness, because you never know what type of viewers you're missing out on that can eventually go down that funnel and become your customer. And so being everywhere, yes, making sure that your brand is there, because what if somebody on TikTok wants to tag you after they receive your product? You want to make sure that you pop up. So being on there, yes, the channel that your customers are matters, but also understanding where is your focus and for what reason. Always ask the why. So YouTube is going to be, my why is going to be to have video content on there for that SEO leverage. So search engine optimization, making sure that video is going to stay on there forever, rather than having a story on Instagram that's going to go away after 24 hours. So my recommendation would be 100% focus more on where your customer is at, but also, is it brand awareness or is it return on investment? So where are you focusing more on, and what do you want in return on that channel?
Right. And that you bring up a good point specifically on social media marketing is the story, posting on a story versus creating an actual post. So can you give an example of what someone could put as a story versus what someone could make as a post so that they can, retain some of those potential customers?
So I'm going to start with, I'm just going to focus on Instagram because this is a great example of the different features that you can use even with one video. So let's just say on your timeline, I always say each different post or tile on your Instagram should have a purpose or a call to action, whether it's educational, just showcasing the product, having a graphic, having a video. So making sure aesthetically pleasing and on brand and the colors and all that, right? So that's your timeline. But the great thing that you can do with just one channel is repurpose one type of content through reels, through stories, through highlights, through IGTV. Like in one platform, you can repurpose that content to probably give you the rest of the month. So let's just say this video, it's an hour long. We're gonna have it on YouTube for that hour long because that makes sense on YouTube. But then we're gonna take the best statements and pieces and have a 3 to 5 minute video on IGTV, and now it becomes a series on IGTV. And then we're going to take from those 3 to 5 minutes, we're going to take 30 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever that is, the reel. Then we're going to make it into a reel with captions. And now that makes sense for the reel. And then we're going to have it on our highlight of your featured guest or great amazing quotes from that interview on the highlights of Instagram. And then we're going to reshare everything on stories. And the great thing about stories, if you don't even have that swipe up because you need 10K followers, that you can use the IGTV on your stories, and that becomes a swipe up, and then it goes everywhere. So I just gave you a quick little breakdown of how you can repurpose your 1 hour video to have it on all different types of formats. And the great thing about that is the reshareability of each type of those. So if you share that reel, it's going to be so impactful, so concise, but very powerful. And that could get reshared so many different times because, again, our time span as viewers and listeners is really short. So you want to have it very concise and bite-sized where it can be shared so many times.
Right. That is very true. I don't know how Joe Rogan does it, but his podcasts are 2 hours. I don't know how people can just sit there. I mean, not everyone just sits there. They probably listen throughout one episode they go through the week or something. But bite-sized, just kind of quick hitting content is very effective with our generation and like Gen Z.
Yeah.
I want to come and tell you about I am Jonathan. I'm an entrepreneur. I have $100 right now. Where is the best place to put this money in advertising dollars? And then here's Brenda. Hi, I'm Brenda. I have $1,000. Where is the best place to put my advertising dollars?
I'm going to tell you probably the best marketing advice I've been giving so far without even spending. Let's not even go with spending right now. Let's see what can we do for free.
Not even a budget.
Because I was like, wow, $100, that's really hard. But then I thought about, all right, I became super creative. And this is the biggest one that has been working, whether you're personal brand, service, or product. It's partnerships, collaborations, joint ventures, whatever that is. So find anybody that shares your common customer and partner up with them. And you guys can do so cross-collaborate, deliver value to that customer. And that's going to work out so well. So let's just say you're doing the podcast. This is your title, your topic. Then you partner up with, so two things. You can partner up with a person. that shares the same customer. So where can my customer be? Oh, let's just go with somebody that has positive and motivational quotes page on Instagram. Let's go on there, let's interview him, and then he shares it out to his following that has, I don't know, X amount of followers. Those followers are going to follow you, and it's like, wow, it matches, that the topic and theme matches. Then you go to a product-based brand. Maybe it's iconic because they have the posters that are motivational and inspiring. And you say, hey, can I do cross-collaboration with you? You can do email swaps. You can do content swaps. So like, let's just switch and share our content and do something together. There's so many different types of partnerships that you guys can start doing that's gonna bring you new potential clients, new followers. You could do a giveaway partnerships. Brands are doing this everywhere, where it says, again, we have the same core customer. Let's get together, put our products together, and do a giveaway. And you can direct what do you want from that giveaway, whether they follow you, share you, tag their friends. You're going to increase your following, but it's also going to bring in new potential customers that is going to be a no-brainer. And guess who's also doing this physically? So I get HelloFresh all the time. It's a food subscription brand, and they have a little envelope of all their partnerships, and they call them offers. And for me, it's a win-win for the brand and for the customer. And I'm like, oh my God, HelloFresh is giving me value. I have a little $100 voucher for a wine company. And it's perfect because I want to have some wine with my food. And now I'm a new customer to that wine brand. And so now they're getting new customers, and it works so well. So partnerships. You can do this all the time with brands, with influencers, so people, and then accounts, whether it's meme accounts, whether it's a topic, an account that has a topic, because there's also brand equity in that.
And so I recently did an interview with a Black business owner that has they have a crystal and jewelry shop in Las Vegas, and they've been just kind of really increasing their brand awareness. And they did it physically before COVID, so they didn't do it virtually. They did it physically at little pop-up shops, and they started off with only a few followers. Now they're at 30,000, and they blew up also because of being featured on BuzzFeed. So how can an entrepreneur get their product featured on some sort of online forum or in a magazine and get endorsed by celebrities? How does one get to that point? Is it luck?
No, it's very strategic in how to do it, and you can apply for these awards or be on each magazine of top 10 best jewelry companies that you need to look out for in 2021. So one, you can apply how to be considered to be on that list. Apply for it. You can pay for it. A lot of people don't know. You can PR. You can pay for it. So you can be in different magazines. It's called listicles. You can be part of a list. So BuzzFeed is one of them. And they do have, each publication has a sponsorship type of deal that you can pay for, and it ranges. And then back to the influencer type of campaign, I have this little pyramid, and at the bottom it starts with going after micro influencers for the purpose of getting content. And so that content is going to be for that social proof. Then as you go higher and higher, then the influencers get bigger. And now that they're bigger influencers, and now you have to pay. And now there's a structure where it's pay per post, or then you make them into affiliates or ambassadors. And then all the way at the top of the pyramid, that's for working with celebrities. And so it could go all the way up to giving some equity if that partnership makes sense, if that celebrity
Yeah.
shares the same values, and if it makes sense for your customers to see, wow, that partnership was like a match made in heaven. And that's when you can give some equity. So there's different types of structures in working with partnerships and celebrities and influencers and publications and all that.
And when you say micro influencers, do you mean like just smaller, people that have like 30K followers on wherever their platform is on?
Yes, so there is a structure out there. At the top of my head, I might be saying it wrong, but micro influencers is less than X amount of followers. Then there's macro influencers, mega influencers. So there is a terminology behind how many influencers people have. But let me tell you, don't go after followers if you're trying to get content. Go after those that can really produce the type of content you're looking for instead of just looking at their followers. So that's why I think the bottom, for me, if you want to get a lot of content for social proof, go after the influencers that are willing to do free product in exchange for that content. They're really good for that content. But what I really want everybody to focus more on is the engagement. How is that engagement? Because now a lot of people can have fake followers. A lot of people can buy comments. And so finding out what that engagement is like for that influencer and what is their relationship with their followers, and if that makes sense. And a lot of influencers have really good following and cult-like following from their followers. And it takes a lot of time to develop that.
There's people that get on Instagram and go on live to just talk with because before we didn't have that intimate, I guess you can call it intimate conversation with celebrities. Like now celebrities love, especially during the pandemic, they loved getting and talking with their fans. And a lot of people did it. And now there's even this is brilliant, but there's a company, I forget what's it called, but it's that company where you can like get a celebrity to just say what you want and then
Cameo.
You pay for it. Cameo, yeah, and that's a great business idea.
Yeah, like celebrities are just like us, and they want to deliver that value and get connected. And there's so many celebrities on Clubhouse just hopping on in and just want to have a conversation from their sofa.
Right, I need to get up on this Clubhouse deal. I haven't even downloaded it yet.
I should get paid for talking about them too much.
They don't they don't have like, what is it? You share this link and you get like a month of premium or something.
Affiliate. Yeah, I need that
affiliate. That's
link.
Right. And so I want to get into a little more advanced question. I don't know. I call it advanced questions for branding. I don't know what you would call it, but how does one launch a new product or service line that still fits with their existing brand? So we know makeups do this all the time. They have like a Sailor Moon collection for this sort of makeup brand, or clothing brands do this.
From their existing?
Yeah.
So I always do encourage expanding that product line or service line, but I do put a lot of emphasis on developing that hero product. And that hero product is what you're known for at the very beginning, because you want to gain that loyalty from that customer. And as soon as you gain that loyalty from that customer, that they have vetted you and they're like, they can go out and become your own spokesperson for your brand, then expand that product line and you can come out with anything and they're going to say, I trust that brand. Almost like Costco. You walk into Costco, you trust and believe that every product in there they have vetted to the best of their ability to deliver the quality and quantity for their customer. So as soon as you're known for that product, that hero product, you improve it, you develop it, it's amazing, then you start spreading out. And so then you can even go into other industries. And this is what I call vertical integration. As soon as you do that, this is gold. So let's just say, for example, snow teeth whitening. We developed an at-home teeth whitening kit, super basic, but it was the best in the industry at the time. And then we went into lip balm and lip scrub. So it still makes sense. It's still the same customer. Right. We're coming out of the mouth, all right? We're still developing the best products. And then eventually we can get into face masks, because now it's still the same customer. Right. And now we're not just a teeth whitening personal care. Now we become a beauty company. And so now you're increasing, bleeding into other industries. And then we also went into the tech space. And so this is very scary, because not a lot of companies make it out when going into other industries. But then we develop an app. And so we're always deliver value with everything that you're doing. But then what do we get in return? We get more data from our customers to deliver better products. So now through developing the app and developing a better product that now is Bluetooth. So now our teeth whitening became Bluetooth, and we spend so much money on R&D to deliver, again, a better product. And so going into the tech space and understanding our customers better, we're now able to say, it looks like most of our customers whiten their teeth from this time to this time, and they run out in 3 weeks. Let's create a subscription model and send out that email to every customer as soon as they run out, and think about receiving that email and saying, hey, before you run out, do you want 10% off your next purchase? It's so convenient to the customer that they're like, yes, oh my God, I love you. Thank you for making my life so convenient.
Wow. That's some fire marketing right there. And I love how you say you moved into different industries, because this is a great segue to my next question. How did you guys, it was so seamless. It almost seems like it's an easy question to answer, but we have, like, for example, companies like Snow, companies like Airbnb, they also moved into a new industry in a way. It's still sort of tourism and travel, but they rent out rooms, right? They rent out rooms to people that host at their place, and they're now doing, like, rent an experience. So you go to, like, do yoga with alpacas, or you go to, like, do kayaking in the lake. How does one move into this new industry when they have their hero product? What's that process like?
I love how you keep, like, tying it back to what I say and back to your question, and that's exactly it. Yes, I saw that. Airbnb, so now they're not just a platform to host and to just have a house to go and stay at. Now they are delivering experiences. And again, it's the same customer, and ask yourself this question: what else can I give my customer so they can experience something better through me? Is still coming through me, and how do I give them a better experience through my product? So the experience, and now they're, like, utilizing what they already have. So utilize what you already have. So now they start getting creative. And there's so many companies doing this, to your point. And so how do you do that? One, you make sure you do it right the first time. After you do it right the first time with one product, you're gaining their trust. So now, going back to the dating analogy, after I take you to a trip and you had an amazing trip and we didn't break up, now I get to take you, instead of a domestic trip, now let me take you across the ocean and let's explore another country. And I know it's scarier because now it's a new language, and now we have to, there's more scenarios for us to fight. But hey, you trusted me at the very beginning, and we did it a little bit, it's a little teaser. But then now I expanded your mind, and I'm going to deliver the same experience I did before. And that's exactly what Airbnb is doing, is using the same experience, delivering that same experience in another way, and utilizing what they already have.
Wow. So then, I guess because you said this great question, which was like, how else can you help them with what service or product you already provide. Is there any other questions that entrepreneurs should ask themselves when they're branding their company?
How else? So like going back to the same topic, this is going to be more internally for the entrepreneur and the brand and the company. It's so look at your process, your supply chain, and say, where else can I cut my margins, or what else am I outsourcing that could make sense to bring it in-house? So for example, as an e-commerce brand, I'm shipping, let's just say, hundreds and thousands of units each month, and shipping is getting really expensive. My warehouse is getting really expensive. Does it make sense to outsource this or to continue in-house? But how do I cut my margins small? How do I increase my margins because I'm spending so much money? Oh, well, let me leverage that, and maybe I become a hub, and maybe I go into a different industry, and maybe I start becoming a shipping company. Smaller doesn't mean you have to move your focus, but it's saying, now I'm going to allow other e-commerce brands to ship out of my warehouse so I can cut my costs and I can leverage the units for the post office, for supplies, for whatever it is. And now I'm leveraging economies of scales where I'm saying, now myself, I used to ship 1,000 units. Now I have 3 companies helping me increase that volume, increase my margins, and decreasing my expenses, because now I can go to the post office or the shipping company. I used to ship 1,000. Now I'm coming in and saying, hey, what's the better rate you can give me if now I'm shipping 10,000 units instead of the 1,000 that I used to last month? Now you have leverage. Now you can negotiate, and you can do that across anything, whether it's just think about what you're doing a lot of and how can you leverage that to increase your margins and decrease your costs.
Yeah, you want to make your money work for you, not work for money.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
To kind of close, a couple leadership questions to know, like, what's your mindset? What's in Brenda's mind when she's going through all of these challenges? Has there been a moment in your life where the odds were stacked against you? How did you overcome these trials? Because a lot of times entrepreneurs, they go through challenges and hardships.
I've had multiple different scenarios, both in business and personal, that should have made me give up, that should have made me throw in the towel and said, okay, take the easy way out. And what I tell myself, it's especially if I'm coming into something new and challenging and I'm doubting myself and I'm dealing with imposter syndrome, which I do a lot of, and I know a lot of people can relate, my mind works on logic. And so I need to convince myself and bring in facts about why I'm able to do this. And so when I go against a challenge and I'm doubting myself and I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I can't do this, I don't have money, it's what have you done in the past that you've overcome? And so I literally have a physical list, it's actually in my notes app, of every single triumph that I have done that I thought I wasn't going to overcome. But I did it so seamless, and I did it with flying colors, and afterwards I was like, I can't believe it was that easy, and I did it, and I was crying before. So if you want a tactical thing, it's for the listeners out there, write down every single thing that you've accomplished that you thought you weren't ever going to get through that you did. And then you write down the commonalities out of all those scenarios throughout your life and say, why am I able to get through this? And for me, I'll just give you the top 3. It's I always figure anything out. Even if I don't know it, I always figure it out. I'm super resilient and persistent. and I'm resourceful. So if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to be resourceful. I'm a problem solver. I'm creative. So you start writing all these traits about yourself that have always been with you in any scenario. Doesn't matter what it is. So as soon as you know that about yourself, every time you go into a problem or challenge that you think, oh, there's no way I'm going to get through this, whether it's a heartbreak or whether it's a lawsuit or whether you're growing and those growing pains from your business is really challenging and you don't know where you're going to find the money or whatever it is, you go back to that list and say, oh, this is why I'm going to figure it out. This is why I'm going to get through this.
Right. And I always think that when you have something physical, it's always more motivating than just sitting there and pondering on it. So I think that's good. If you could like laminate this list or, put it in, frame it somewhere to just like help you get motivated. Like, I did that. I beat that. I think that is really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that, Brenda. And what talking about tips, right? So you're giving some like actual tips that entrepreneurs can do. What other hacks do you have or have you developed to stay focused and productive in your day-to-day?
Yes, it's really hard to stay focused and productive, especially with all these distractions now at the tip of our finger. One of the things that has always worked for me, especially in time management, it's time blocking on my calendar. Time blocking every single thing to the hour of what I need to be doing. And then the different things of adding something to it other than just what are you going to do throughout the whole day of time blocking per hour. It's having my one non-negotiable thing from my to-do list, because we all love to be super ambitious and have that to-do list to be super long, and you think you're going to get all that done in that day, and it doesn't happen, and we keep recycling that to-do list over and over. One thing that has, it just keeps going. So one thing that has helped me from that is I won't go to sleep unless my one non-negotiable my calendar gets done. And so I make that one very important task from my to-do list on my calendar on the hour or before anything. Like, I add it as an event on my calendar to make sure it gets done.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a great way to end it. Thank you so much, Brenda, for being on this show. I appreciate you talking to us, sharing your expertise. And me and Brenda, we've known each other since high school.
We have.
It makes me so happy to just see someone else make it from a high school, Title I high school, where it wasn't the best area. There was gang violence. There was a lot of people that were low income. And just to see you thrive like this, it makes me so happy to be able to interview you. Who knew we would be here today, me interviewing you on a podcast and then you talking about this success that you've made. So I guess the last question I just want to ask is what's next? What's your next things in life that you're planning on?
What is next? My biggest priority right now is going inward and continue this self-love development focus. I have been understanding more about myself, and so I'm prioritizing me first and foremost. Yes. I get the thrill of helping other entrepreneurs in their business through marketing, and I am taking it slow right now until my next venture where I'm ready for the next big thing that I'm going to create. So there's no rush and burnout. I learned my first rodeo, but there's definitely a lot in the works. But thank you so much. And Jonathan, the thing that I keep seeing with you and us coming from where we come from, is the willingness to selflessly continue to give back to our community, whether it's through knowledge, our time, and everything that you're doing. So thank you again for also serving the community.
Thank you, Brenda. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day.